Hello and welcome to MyWebUniversity.com, where I bring you online educational courses in computer science, IT, and DevOps. You can see under my Web University YouTube channel, I have more than 2,100 online videos. You're welcome to learn from them. There are online courses for free on YouTube. And also I have it on Dari language, which is about 506 videos. You could learn them in Dari if you speak Farsi, Dari. And if you speak English, there's 2,100 videos. At the same time, under MyWebUniversity.com, I have this book that I wrote online for you. And the name of the book is The Direct Path to Linux Ubuntu. It has 15 chapters, and every chapter is by itself is another book, a book. And then there's hundreds of thousands of technical documentation on this book that are all about Linux, Ubuntu, Linux Red Hat, Linux Rocky, Windows PowerShell, and Windows command lines, as well as chapter 2, 3, and 4 teaches you Linux Basic, Linux Intermediate, and Linux Advanced levels. All of these ones you can practice it online on MyWebUniversity.com by following these chapters. I don't want to go too much in detail on this book because I have a presentation to make. And let's get started with that presentation, which is installing PyInstaller module. PyInstaller module in virtual environment allows you to run your own Linux, Windows related binaries. So if you're on a Linux platform, you get executable link format or standalone binaries. And then if you're on Windows, you get .exec files, which is executable files. And how you make them, you have to install PyInstaller module, and you do it in the virtual environment platforms. And this video is going to be in English at my Web University. I'm going to post it. Then I could make subsequent in Farsi also, and I'll post it at my Web University-Dari videos there. So to start with, let's go through a slideshow, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to cover under PyInstaller. And with Python, you have to first install virtual environment. The virtual environment allows you to just run it on a Windows platform or on a Linux or Mac, a virtual environment, which means that your environment is isolated to a virtual directory structure. In the directory structure, you have some options to activate the virtual environment and deactivate it. Whenever you do the virtual environment, it is going to be just more cleaner in terms of your system is not going to be cluttered with system related binaries. For example, if you have Python 3.11 in the virtual environment and you want to keep 3.12 on the system, they are isolated. They are not going to have conflicts. So no system clutters on the fact that you're doing virtual environment. At the same time, when you run the PyInstaller, you have to activate the virtual environment and do that one. Then you have an option to build your executable or executable link format on Windows platform. I'm sorry, on Linux platform. And Windows is .exec. So let's get started with that. This is a Python tutorials, and I'm going to install PyInstaller module, which is a module or library within Python and Python programming language. So you have to have Python compiler, actually Python interpreter. Python interpreter is both functional and object-oriented interpreter. So once you install the Python interpreter, the current version is 3.14, but you might have it on your system 3.12. Anything over 3.6 will help you out to do this virtual environment and PyInstaller module. So building a standalone executable for Linux and Windows platform. On the Linux, I'm going to show you the Linux Ubuntu, and then also Linux Ubuntu is my web university is running on Linux Ubuntu. So if you're practicing chapter 2, 3, 4, you're basically running the command on my web server, and then the output is showing on your browser. Linux on a browser. How cool is that, right? So if you just practice it, you know this is really, really a powerful feature that I have made it available for you online for free. Practice those ones and learn it, and then hundreds of thousands of technical documentation. Plus, from there, you could just get to the entire internet, which you can have millions of other documentation available at your fingertips. So the fact that I'm going to cover a Linux virtual environment today, as well as Python installer, and on both Windows platform and Linux, that by itself is a lot of help, and that you can share with your loved ones, and they could learn it also. So virtual environment makes your environment much cleaner, isolated, and manageable. Meaning that if you have Python 3.12 and then the NumPy module and request module, PyInstaller module, then you can just freeze it and then give the readme.txt file into another person, and the other person could duplicate your virtual environment, and you don't have to worry about that directory is gone or deleted when you have basically the readme.txt file that to build it again. So why virtual environment? Why we use virtual environment? Keep your system clean, isolated dependencies per projects. So if you make a directory my project, and then your project you have installed, as I said, NumPy, pandas, and request, and other modules of Python. Every version, it is kind of meeting all the dependencies. They are isolated for that my project there, or my virtual environment that you have done there. And then also setting up the virtual environment, you create and activate the virtual environment. So when you create the virtual environment, you have to activate it. On Windows, it's a different way to activate it. You either have a PowerShell script.ps1 to run that one, or a .batch BAT file to do it. And on Linux, the .csh for C shell, and no extension, just activate, is for a bash. I will show you those ones. So installing PyInstaller, to install PyInstaller, basically is run the pip install PyInstaller, installing only inside the virtual environment, no system pollution, no system cluttering. And on Linux, you do build on Linux, generate executable link format standalone binaries. And this is very powerful, that you could just make out of your Python interpreter to just run executable link format or .exec on Windows. And that is a binary that is much faster in some sense, because it is standalone. You could just only ship the executable, and then you don't need the Python interpreter, because it's an executable for that system. That is whatever is the x86 platform or another platform, you build it for that one. The binary was for that register and CPUs. Build on Windows, generate a .exec executable for Windows. As I mentioned, on executable link format is the equivalent binary version of Windows.exec. Excuse me. On Linux, you have executable link format. And then option and tips, one dash file, icons, hidden imports, and troubleshoot. Excuse me. For the option for the PyInstaller, there's one option, a --1 file, meaning that create one file. You can use the -- icon to just create your executable with the icon and hidden imports and troubleshooting, dash names, and further information that I can show you later. So why use virtual environment? And the benefit of the virtual environment is a lot, and it's really good that it helps you big time. First of all, the big important thing is no system cluttering. Package installation only inside the virtual environment folder. Your global Python stays untouched. So if you have a Python version globally that everybody else is using it, and then for one developers, you create a virtual environment, this is isolated with the version that you install for NumPy, for request, for PyInstaller, for any pandas, any modules. That version is just for you. And then when you just are done with it, you can wipe it out and just create a readme.txt file out of the list of packages by doing a freeze. And then after that one, you just load that one in GitHub, the readme.txt, and then that's it. And you just recreate it again and again from that one. Your global Python stays untouched, so other users and global systems are not going to be touched with virtual environment. Peer project control. I'm sorry, per project control. Per project control is like, okay, the directory or peer, or I could say per in this case, whatever directory you created, that directory you have full control of what dependencies you want to install for what module. Each project gets its own exact dependency versions, no more version conflicts. That's so important, per project control. Reproducibility, share requirements.txt. This requirements.txt, I said readme.txt, I meant requirement.txt. This requirement.txt is the one, once you freeze it, you create this requirement.txt. Inside the requirement.txt, you have all the dependencies and version for this folder virtual environment. And then all you have to do is do the git push on this one, requirement.txt. You push it into the GitHub, and then after that one, you download this one and you build your system again and again. Can create the exact same environment. That's important. So if your system is sometimes not reproducible because you install Python with 3.12, and then maybe on a development machine that you ran these NumPy, they had 3.11 or another version, or Python 2, 2.7, whatever old version that the other machine was there, most likely you could not reproduce it. But if you just made the requirements on your install of a virtual environment, you just created this requirement.txt, and then this requirement meets all the dependencies that you have. When you just recreate the requirement.txt build, and then after that one, you're done. You just have all the dependencies, your system will reproduce itself. Save to delete. Once you are deactivating the virtual environment, it's okay to delete the virtual environment. You never push the virtual environment into the GitHub. You always just only push the requirements.txt. That's good enough. There's a .ignore file on the GitHub that you just put it, and if you just say don't do anything but requirement.txt, you push it, and then now you delete the virtual environment, just delete the virtual environment folder to completely remove all project packages. Then you can recreate it from requirement.txt. That's very efficient. So what are the prerequisites? The prerequisite, you have to have Python 3.6 and up, meaning that you could have Python 3.6, 0.7, 0.8, and up to 0.14, which is the current one, then you're all good. Anything over 3.6, you're good. So the way you check the version of Python 3.6 or PEP version, you say Python 3 -- version, or PEP 3 -- version, or PEP -- version. Any command that you say something like this, it will just give you the version of that binary or that executable, Python 3 in this case. And then comes with a very with virtual environment module built in. So on Windows, once you install Python 3, automatically comes with a virtual environment. On Linux, you have to install it. Available from python.org or package managers. You can use WinGit on the Windows to get it, or wget on Linux, Ubuntu, and DNF on Linux, Red Hat, or Fedora, Rocky. All of those ones uses DNF or YAM. Available for python.org and through packages. And then on Linux, no extra step is needed, but you need to install Python 3-virtual environment. You may not have this one by default. If you have not done it, then you have to do a sudo apt install on Ubuntu, sudo DNF install Python 3-virtual environment, and they get installed. On Fedora, the same thing, DNF or YAM. You use the package manager. On Windows is WinGit. And then once you install the virtual environment, then you could say apt install Python 3-virtual environment. This is actually on Linux Ubuntu. To install the Python 3-virtual environment, this one is going to allow you to just create a virtual environment on your system. But there's additional command to make sure that you can activate it. If you just did this one, you will not have the activate and under the binary directories. I'll show you the command that you need to do with Python 3-m, and then the module name, and then the name of the directory or project for the virtual environment. So on Windows, downloading Python installer from python.org, make sure that you add it on the path, and virtual environment is already automatically included. How to create and activate the virtual environment. So on Linux and Mac, it's very easy. You install Python 3.12. In this case, on whatever version you have, mine was 3.12. So I'm going to install Python 3.12-virtual environment module first by using the sudo command. The reason you need sudo, because without that one, it will give you anything when you do apt, it will just say, oh, the system needs your sudo privilege in order to just install it for you. So you have to do that sudo or become root first, and then run apt install Python 3.12-virtual environment. So with apt install, you can use any Python 3 binaries. So the name of the package usually will be provided. If you just didn't know it, you could do apt search, also apt list, apt show, apt info. A lot of those commands will help you to find it. In order to navigate to the project folder, you have to make a my project or whatever directory on your home directory. This tilde meaning that is for your home directory. So in this case, cd to my_project directory and the home of my user. And then after that one, this is the command I was telling you that after you did the apt install Python 3, in order to have the activate in those PS1 and the Windows already has the activate.ps1 and activate.batch, as you can see here. But this is the command that if you don't have it, you can install it. Python 3-m virtual environment. This -m means the dash module. The module virtual environment, because you install it here, the virtual environment is now available for you to do it. This is the name of the folder. In this case, I said give it the same name as virtual environment. For short, you could say virtual environment, VNV, or MyV virtual environment, whatever name you do, you're fine with it, I'm fine with that. Activate it, and how do you activate it? Because this is C shell activate, and then you could say, if it's bash, and this is actually bash, so you could say source activate dot, and then that's on the virtual environment bin directory activate, and then you can also source activate.cshell.csh for C shell. And then your prompt now shows the virtual environment your username at the host name, and then so on, all the directory that you are there. On Windows and PowerShell, you cd to your project directory, whatever Windows directory folder you are, you go to that one, then you say Python-m virtual environment. So this is Python 3 or Python. If you have the name Python on Windows, you just type in Python, and Linux, usually, if you didn't have an alias Python for Python 3, it will just not work. So make sure that you create an alias that, to point to Python 3 by saying alias Python space is equal Python is equal in Python 3. And then here, Python-m virtual environment, and virtual environment is the name of the directory that you're creating. Then you cd to that directory which you created. There's a script directory on Windows, and then on the Linux it's a bin directory. That's a binary. This is also a scripts directory, similar to binary on Windows. The name of the file is activate here. Without the extension here is activate.batch. For Windows, command line, DOS command prompt, and for PowerShell commandlet is activate.ps1, which stands for PowerShell 1. So you do that one, and then you're good to go. And then at this time, you go to the next level, which is step 2, and install PyInstaller inside the virtual environment. This is important. You don't do it on your system level. You create a virtual environment, then you activate the virtual environment, then you install the PyInstaller inside the virtual environment that you just created. That way, your system is not cluttered, and it's clean, it's isolated into the virtual environment. You can destroy it in the directory afterward when deactivated, and created the requirements of text, and push it into the GitHub, and then all you have to do is rebuild it at another host. So the virtual environment, I'm inside the virtual environment. You can use pep. So once you install Python with the virtual environment, the Python and pep already comes in. Inside here, if you say pep -- version, it will tell you the version of pep that's available for that Python 3.12 version, for example. So you can say pep install, and PyInstaller is the name of the module inside the virtual environment. Now it gets installed. And then you can run inside virtual environment PyInstaller -- version to get your version of PyInstaller. And then if you need further help on how to create the standalone application for Windows or Linux, you can just say PyInstaller -- help, and it will give you all the syntax. The default syntax is very easy. You say PyInstaller and -- file, and then the name of your Python scripts, and then it will create by default that .exec and put it on the disk for distribution directory. However, you can say -- name and give it a new name. For your executable, you can say -- icon, -- console to create a terminal command line, and then -- no console to create a graphical or GUI kind of Windows silence mode and everything else. So there's a lot of option for this one. Make sure your prompt shows a virtual environment before running pep install. This ensures a PyInstaller goes into the virtual environment, not your system Python. This is very important. Always activate it inside the virtual environment. And then verify installation, so you can run the PyInstaller -- version, as I told you. You can verify what version you're running, and you might be getting it depending on what version at the time that you did it, 6.x or maybe whatever version, .x will give you the version number. Install your app dependencies. So if you have to do inside this virtual environment NumPy or pandas or other requests or any other modules, just install your app's own dependencies here by doing pep install, and then, for example, request is there, and NumPy, pandas, and so on. Build the executable on Linux. How do you do it on the Linux? It's just simple, right? If you just say one file and then that's dash dash help will give you these kind of arguments, the options. So PyInstaller, the default one is dash dash one file and the name of your Python scripts. The directory that you're running this Python as source file is inside your virtual environment. You have this file, and then there should be a disk for distribution directory. The binary will reside here. It will get created under with the name my underscore app for executable for Linux. And then if you're on Windows platform, my underscore app.exec. But if you're on Linux platform, no extension. You could also give it with dash dash name and give it whatever name. You could call it Wahid or my app or app one or whatever. You decide the name, what it should be the executable. With with console windows, so there's a dash dash option, and here the default shows terminal output. If you didn't specify dash dash console, it is like this default one, but it is going to be on the terminal. No console is going to be a GUI, silently executable, no terminal pop-ups. This is important. So if you see the binary is silent, you make sure that it is a GUI option there for running it in the GUI. And then PyInstaller dash one file and dash dash name. This is the dash dash name. You could give it any name for this app. My app, you could say demo one, or you could say binary one, whatever name you want to give it, that's fine. But make sure you give it meaningful names. And then the executable, for example, here in this case, there's under the distribution, my underscore app. And if it is on Linux, on Windows, it would be my underscore app.exec. So executable link form binary, the executable link format binary runs with this name. By // you could run it with executable. Renames the binary to my apps dash dash name. You can name it anything else if you want. Just do that. Step 4, build the executable on Windows. On Windows is very simple also. PyInstaller dash dash one file, my app.py. And that's basically creating it with my app.py. And then you could also do PyInstaller dash dash one file dash window my app. This was a window app, basically ideal for GUI application like TK Enter. So this is a TK toolkit interface that is their TCL. This is another module in Python that you could allow you to do graphic dialog boxes, which stand for toolkit interface, TK interface. TCL/TK is the module, and then this is the interface, INTER. So when you do this one with dash window, it is going to create a graphical interface. This option, PyInstaller dash dash one file, it makes a one file kind of binary or standalone binary. Dash dash icon, you can give it an icon image, so your app is going to have a nice icon for it, and then attach the icon to the executable. And then all together, if you just do more options, you could give dash dash one file and then dash window for graphic, dash dash icon to attach the icon, and dash dash name to give the app an name, and then my app underscore app.py is your source code in Python. And then the executable on Windows is .exec here under the distribution. By double clicking it, because it's a executable, it runs on the GUI if it is a TK interface. Double click to run it, no Python installation is needed. So what is the virtual environment structure? Recommended project structure, usually you create a my underscore project. This is your project. Under that one, you have a virtual environment. and then all of these other subdirectories are getting created and files are getting created under virtual environment. So this is your virtual environment that has isolated packages, NumPy, pandas, anything that gets under a virtual environment. This is a very important project structure. You have to know the architecture, you have to know the structure of how these files are going to be available on the system. And when you have the requirement.txt, basically you don't want to just put this directory into the GitHub. These are a lot of packages that are unnecessary for you to put this one. But you can put the requirement.txt has all the binaries, which version of your source code is there, what are the icons, what is the executable, and then what is the executable. You don't upload it either, because you can always build it from the command line once you build the virtual environment on another system. So build, and this one is also under the build, there's a lot of the specification files that are just default for customization. You could do that. And it's my app underscore spec is the specification that I just mentioned. This is the executable file or executable link format in Linux. Never commit virtual environment. This one, you never commit it. If you commit this one, then you're just having so many junk on your GitHub. Don't do that one. Add it to the .git ignore file. So you put this directory on the git ignore, so it never, when you take a commit, you don't commit the binaries. Okay, it's huge and user specific. You don't want to do that one. Commit requirements.txt. The requirements.txt, once you freeze it, this requirement.txt has all the dependencies in it. What version of NumPy you have, what version of pandas you have, what version of Python you have, all of that is on this requirement.txt. This is your building the system. Run pip freeze and greater sign requirement.txt. So inside your virtual environment or outside of this directory, once you say, when you're in the virtual environment directory, you could say pip freeze, automatically reads all the versions and dependencies, and then it's going to write into the requirement.txt. This pip freeze is the command that you want to practice when you're creating your system to build it for later. Requirement.txt is the one. The .spec file, PyInstaller generates this edit for advanced configuration. That's when you do advanced configuration. And that this is your output, the executable or executable line format, .exec file, and it will reside here. So that's when your user are going to run that one for the binary. Useful option and troubleshooting. Some of these ones you can also get it from the --help. So --head and import, and then I just define it what it means here. --add data -clean and --clean. --clean is important that force a refresh rebuild. So if you ever say something that might have been not right, let me just do it. This is like the make clean, make clean, or make desk clean for distribution clean with building the system. This --clean of the PyInstaller will just rebuild all these files for you, clean it up. You can also do RM on the desk directory and the build directory, and just run the command again. It will just recreate those ones. Test before building. Run your app from the activate virtual environment first to catch any important errors early. And this is also important on Windows. Antivirus false positive. So PyInstaller, sometimes when you install any software on Windows platform, and then it's gonna kind of like detect it as if you have virus. But sign your executable or advise users to whitelist this name of the binary that you give them, because it's not a virus, it's antivirus false positive. However, on Windows, if you have not sign anything, it will just tell you that, oh, this system, it might be malicious code or something, because it is given a .exec file or .pdf or some other files. Sometimes Windows is kind of paranoid without being coming from Microsoft or signed by the author. So make sure you sign it or tell the users to whitelist it, because this is false positive. Unless you just wrote a code that maliciously wants to do directory delete or something, then you don't want to whitelist that one and you don't want to give it out to users. And deactivate the virtual environment. To deactivate the virtual environment, you just use the deactivate command. When done working, you do deactivate. So Python and virtual environment and Conda, they have this environment that you can run into a virtual environment, activate it, do your work, and then when you're done, create a requirement.txt and then deactivate it, and then remove the entire directory. And now you could use the requirement.txt to rebuild it. Your prompt returns back to normal. A quick reference for a cheat sheet on the Linux. Creating a virtual environment is easy. You just type in Python 3-m virtual environment and then the name of that directory where you create the virtual environment. So Python 3 is the binary for Python. -m means module, and then the name of the module that you had already installed. This one is called virtual env. This virtual env create the virtual environment, whatever name you get. Then once you create it, by activating this one, you go to this virtual environment directory under the bin on Linux, and then run the activate, which is the bash script, source it, and then if you are on C shell, you source activate.csh. And then to install the PyInstaller module or installing NumPy, you just use pip. Pip install pandas, pip install PyInstaller, pip install games, whatever the name of the module that you're doing, and in this case PyInstaller or pandas or NumPy or request, just replace the name of the module with that one. And then pip list will show all the modules that are currently installed. Pip search will search for the pip reinstall, and it will reinstall the name of the module that you ran for. PyInstaller -- version will give you the version, but in this case, if you say --1 file, notice this one -1 file, one file is one word, so it's not dash there. And then my app.py, and then it will just install it. You can do PyInstaller --help, it will say all the syntax there. Deactivate is to deactivate this virtual environment. It's the opposite of activating. When you activate it, your prompt changes from whatever prompt you had to virtual environment, as I showed you, and like here. And this is for Windows, Python -m virtual environment, and then activating it, virtual environment script activate.bash. Then once you activate it, then you could just go run the .ps1 file, which is PowerShell activate.ps1 or activate.bash for Windows command prompt DOS. Pip install PyInstaller will install the PyInstall module. Pip install NumPy will install NumPy. Once you have all of that one, then if you have a Python script on that directory, you just say PyInstaller --1 file, my app, and then .py. And now under this directory, you will have a binary on Windows called this/myapp.exec. Or on Linux, it would be, after this one would be under the distribution, my_app. If you wanted to give it a particular name, you just say --name, and then you give the name after. So now you're ready to do the build. You create a virtual environment, install PyInstaller, and then build and distribute your app. How simple it is, 3 steps. You create the virtual environment, install PyInstaller, then use PyInstaller to create the one file and give it the distribution, the executable from the distribution to your users. A virtual environment keeps it clean. And --1 file bundles everything, built on a target operating system, whether you can do it on Mac or Windows or Linux. It is there. The distribution will have the binary or executable link format file, .exec file or executable link format. Well, users will run that one. Please make sure you like and subscribe our channel. We're not done here because I'm just done with the lecture. I'm gonna do a demo on Windows and Linux platform so you can fully understand how to do it. Okay, so let's get that done. And right here, I'm gonna go back to the Windows first. So on the Windows first, let's go right here. And this is my prompt. So if I say, first I say git host, that one tells me that I'm running PowerShell version 7.5 there. I don't have to have that information. Host name is just telling me that I'm on a Windows information. So the system info on this one, and then let's look at the OS name. For the operating system, you can see I'm running Windows 11, Microsoft Windows 11 Professional Edition. The name of the host is there, and then there's a lot of other information from system information that will give you the details of like the model, the architecture, the CPU, the memory, everything. You could just do a find/mem. For example, if I just want to know my memory, you just type in mem and it will be specific to how much memory you have. If you want to say model, what type of processor you have, you can do this one. So Windows is also very user-friendly, and Linux is the same thing. So by doing clear screen here, I'm running the command, and now on my directory, I am here on the PowerShell print working directory is like similar to get-location. Get-location is telling me that they're there. So alias pwd, it stands for, this is an alias that's pointing to the commandlet get-location. So I'm on this directory. I'm going to just find out what version of Python I have. Python, so Python that version, you can see is 3.12. And then what version of PEP I have, PEP version, it is for Python 3.12, PEP is 26.0.1. And then that's Python 3.12. So at this time, in order for me to just go ahead and create a virtual environment, I could just say, let's create a directory called my project or whatever. Let's make a directory my project. Okay, now I created that my project. If I had created in the past, it would have some content. But since it doesn't have any file on it, when I did a dir or ls or get the dash child item, get dash child item, they all just not going to return. So alias ls is saying that it's pointing to get dash child item. Alias directory dir is the same thing. So if I say get dash command and dir, you can see that the dir is an alias, right? So if I say get dash command, get dash child item, you can see that is a commandlet, and that commandlet has this one, Microsoft PowerShell management, right? So at this time, I did this one. If I say sort by last items, there's nothing in here. If I say make dir new, and then I now do a dir, now I just created rm dir new, and then now that directory is gone. So I don't have anything here. What I'm going to do is say clear screen, and then say Python -- version. I have this one. If I say Python itself, I'm going to drop off on 3.12 here. So then I say import, let's say import the sys module and sys dot version info, and then it tells you that the version of Python is 3.12.0, right? So sys dot path will tell me the path. Sys dot version will just give me the version of Python. Sys dot platform will give me the platform windows. It says that maybe executable, and it tells you the path where my system Python is under 3.12. This is the directory where it is installed there. So if I just exit out of this one, and then I could also run this command right here and just say this one dash dash version, that also tells me the same thing. So that get dash command, Python, if I just say it, notice it tells me this is where the source is. So get dash command on PowerShell is very useful. It's like a which command or a Linux, or where is command and locate command. They're very nice commands on PowerShell on Linux as well. So I'm on here. I did directly, nothing is there. So I'm gonna say Python 3, and then I'm gonna say -m for module name, virtual environment, and I'm going to call it my virtual env. And then now I'm going to create the virtual environment directory, because in a Python Windows environment, virtual environment already comes with it. The minute you run the -m virtual environment, it says, oh yeah, virtual environment is already there on the system. So if I was doing git dash command and then virtual env, you could see that is not showing anything, because that's a Python command and the modules here. But if I say Python 3 and then go here and say import virtual environment, now there are virtual environment, you can see there's a lot of double underscore method, dunder magic method, as well as these other ones, create, logger, logging in main, and other ones. They're all kind of like some modules or something related. So sys modules there, OS modules there, SHUTEL is there, so sysconfig. Let me exit out of this one, and I'm going to come back here by clearing my screen. I don't want you to worry about these other ones. Some users, they are worried about everything. But now here, I have created this my virtual environment. So the command that I used to create this one was Python 3-m virtual environment, and it created my virtual environment. This is the directory where we want to switch to and then activate it. So I go cd to my virtual environment. Inside here, you can see there's include lib and scripts. Remember, on Windows, you have this scripts directory, and then under scripts, you have activate.batch and activate.ps1. Activate.batch is a command line for DOS, or a command prompt of just terminal. And then activate.ps1 is PowerShell 1. And then this one is for deactivation.batch is there. And then let's see if there's deactivate. Yeah, .batch is there, but notice there's no deactivate.ps1. So you have to do activate and deactivate there. This activate is also on the source. So if I type in, say, any of these ones to just show you the command activate. This one is, notice this one is all a Linux. And you can see actually, no, this file must be used with source bin activate from bash. Yeah, so if you're on bash, this is what activates it. And then yeah, this is all Linux stuff. You can see all the syntax is Linux. So the other one, the one that we want to do is activate dot batch for DOS. So this is another one that is echo of all of this one is the disk operating system or command prompt. So if I'm going here, command, now I'm on the Microsoft Windows command prompt C colon. I got out of PowerShell. But if I say version here, you can do it, system info. All of those commands are available here as well. However, clear screen here, if I type in clear, it's going to say not found because I'm inside command prompt. So here, if I type in clear, now I'm on PowerShell, clear command works. So I'm back, I exit out of command prompt, but these files, whether I want to run the type activate, get content is similar to the alias type in this case. And you can see the content of the file if you want to see. So get dash alias type, it will say get dash content. Get dash content is the commandlet for it, if you just want to memorize that. But all you need is this one is to activate it, whether you run the dot slash activate, dot slash activate right here, but dot PS1. This will just set your virtual environment here. So now if I want to deactivate, I just run that one, now I'm back on PowerShell. So imagine how simple it is. Activate it like this. Now your virtual environment got there, and then deactivate it back, and then it will do that one. I could also do activate by just running this. Clear screen, activate dot batch is this command, and then now and this activate dot batch is there. Deactivate will just run that one. Activate dot dat will just run. This one is not doing it because I'm not doing a dot slash. Dot slash means there's a in the current directory there's a file that will activate it. So now if I say activate it, and then it will not activate. So let me just see why there's activate dot bash. No, yeah, dot slash activate dot batch. Okay, so I'm on the PS1. The activate dot batch does not run. But if I'm going on the command prompt here, and then I go here, clear screen. Let me see, clear screen under. I'm on a different directory now. So let me exit out of this one. Directory here, yeah. I am on the different directory. I'm going to open a prompt here. Go to that directory that I want to go. Okay. So right here, I think I was on the current directory here, and then go to my project directory, and then I was on the MyWebUniversity-Dari directory, and then I wanted to scripts directory. But notice here on this directory where I have the directory path here, I'm going to clear a screen here, PWD. I want to just copy this one just because right here I want to open a command prompt, and I'm going to say CMD, open a command prompt. Now I'm going to say CD to this directory, which is, okay, sorry. When I cut and pasted, did not the right same path I wanted to. And I wanted to copy this one. Copy. Okay, I'm gonna go to that directory. So my projects, CD to my project. Okay, clear screen. And then I go to my virtual environment. Notice I'm on a DOS command prompt, so I can do CLS, but I cannot do clear command. If I do CLS, clear screen, or help CLS, it is there, the command is there. Help version, it's going to show you. Help volume, everything is there, right? So help, the help itself, that is there. But I'm inside the command prompt of this one. So why am I showing you this? because inside the script directory, there's another file called activate.batch. So if you're on the command prompt, you run this one, you have to say /activate.batch, and now your environment is activated. But when I was doing that one on PowerShell, when you're on PowerShell, you cannot run activate.batch. That's important. You have to run activate.ps1. So notice if I say I'm on a version of PowerShell, and then I say activate.ps1, now my virtual environment is there. And then here, deactivate will deactivate it on both situation. And right here also deactivate, well, just because the extension is .batch for deactivate, automatically runs it and it's there. So you understand whether you're on DOS or that. So if I do this activate here, and then now I say clear screen directory here, notice onside here, I'm on the activation. When I did it, these are a list of binaries that are under scripts directory. But I could say pep list, and then I could see what are the modules on this environment. You can see here pep itself and set up your tools and more of these packages, right? So here, if I go the same thing and say clear screen, you don't have to be on this directory once you have your virtual environment, because your virtual environment, I could be anywhere. I could say pep list and it will show me the list. But notice when you're here, there's a directory called libs. So the directory lib actually has all the side packages. So if you want to install request module, right here under request, under the side modules, under the lib slash site modules, there's no package called request. So I'm going to say pep list, and then I see the request is not there. So then I say pep install request, and that will install request module for me inside this one. So now I installed it with the request module. If I say pep list, you can see that request is there. With request, there's other dependencies that was also added to the system. So you can also do pep list if you have a bigger list here. You could say, give me request only, and then you could just say that one is there. This one, pep list, everything is good, and then I could require and say pep freeze, and then greater sign requirement dot text. Now I just froze it, and then now if I say directory, the requirement dot text is all I need. Requirements dot text in order to meet those ones. So you can see here, certify is this version, character set is this version, and then ID and request is 2.3.1 on that. But on my actual system, if I exit out of this one, deactivate here, now I say Python that version, I might have 3.12 or maybe pep that version. I don't know the particular one for list. Maybe there's additional NumPy and other ones that I have it on the system. And you can see there's so much other ones that I have it, SQL Academy and maybe NumPy and other ones. So in order for me to know if I have a NumPy, I could say instead of this one, say NumPy. And that will tell me there. Also, I could say, go ahead into Python and then say import NumPy as NP. And then that way I could do a dir of NP and then see all the modules and functions and attributes and the double underscore methods, everything is there, exceptions and everything else. Okay, so I'm going to exit out of this one, but notice on this virtual environment, if I want to activate it, I need to create a PyInstaller so I can run the code here. So I'm going to go to scripts here, and then I'm going to say /activate.powershell1. This is how you activate it. Now I have activated, I say pip install, and then PyInstaller. This will install PyInstaller module, and once install PyInstaller module, then I just run it with creating the one file and so on. But I need some source of Python, right? So I have already written some source here. Let's go to that directory. I'm gonna say deactivate deactivate. You have to do that one now. I'm on that directory. Here I'm going to go my downloads directory, and then directory here. And since I'm on Windows, I'm going to do this to see the last files, PyInstaller, tutorial, PTX, and my projects. So I'm going to go to my projects here, cd to my projects, yeah, I'm already there. No, direct cd to my projects, my project with without the cd to my virtual environment. And then notice here, I have a number of scripts, right? So I'm going to copy one of them. Let's say copy this one. In order to see the content of that one, graphical user interface 1.py. When I do a type, notice here I say from tk enter. Tk enter is already in Python, so I didn't have to install it. And then tk interface, from tk enter import message, and then do that one. So then I could see that module and then the function tk method that I could use, and then create this nice stuff here. In order to do this one, I also wrote a name called piece.PowerShell1. This one I already automated the whole option that to just go ahead and do these ones, run the piece from shell1, and then write this one showing the content of piece dot this one, and write this one. So one PowerShell script will automate the entire PyInstaller executable in for the Windows to run this command. However, if I want to just run this one from the command line, I could do that one. And if I just have another program just to say like hello world.py, let's see if I have anything here, demo1.py, let me see, type and demo1.py, that's also tk, so directory star.py, my calc, and then I think it's h.py is a small program. Yeah, so this one just says hello world. This is a new tab, just like nothing serious. So let me copy this one into temp, and then copy it in there, or I could just say, what is this directory here? Okay, right here under virtual environment. I'm gonna copy it here under this, and then I say copy h.py to this directory, and also I want to copy GUI1.py. So doing that on GUI1.py, and then I'm gonna also copy ps1. So copy piece.ps1 to same directory structure. Okay, so now we're ready to just execute it and run it. I'm going to go to this directory here, and notice that I have a couple of Python scripts, okay, and then GUI1 and then h. So type h.py. If I just want to run that one from the command line, I say Python and then run h.py. And that will just run the content of this one, say hello, and then word, and then /t is doing a tab. I need to just pause for a second. Similarly, if I want to run the piece.py or GUI1.py, let's see the content of this one, type, and then GUI1.py. This is what is going to create a two dialog box with greeting, hello Wahid, greeting, hello all at my web university, peace, and so on. So all of that information is going to be there. Peace is very important. I don't mean so on. I mean peace in the entire world, peace and free education for all. That's very important. Hello Wahid is so on. It doesn't matter. So let's go to this. I'm going to run this program called GUI1.py. Notice that if you run this one from command line using Python interpreter, this is not a standalone yet. I'm going to click OK and say hello at my web university. So it writes these three messages here, and then it writes hello Wahidullah, peace in the entire earth, peace and free education for all. Then I say, okay, that's good. I did exactly what I told you. It created dialog box there. But I'm going to just run this program that I automated called piece.ps1. And this one, I just said, okay, write the host, tell the user in green, running the piece.ps1 script first. Then it pauses 3 seconds, so you press enter. Then it says write and showing the content of the PS1. So this will be written on the system. Then it types the content, and then it says write host green, creating the piece.exec. At this time, we're going to create the piece.exec a standalone in the disk directory. So on these echo or write host are the commands to do that one. But the actual command that will create the graphical interface GUI.executable is called PyInstaller -1 file --window -name piece.exec. If I just run this command only by this option without anything, what is going to happen? Under this directory, it's going to create a file called piece.exec. Watch this one. I just run it, and then it's going to do that step. PyInstaller, and it's going to create the packages as all the dependencies. It's going to just make the entire system there. Notice under this directory now I have the piece.exec. So if I say this is for distribution, piece.exec, and it will just do exactly the same binary that we just did earlier. So that's one command that you do there. But to be honest with you, all you have to do is run this piece.ps1, which is this command, and then everything is automated. Like, look, run that piece.ps1, and it will just say running the piece.script, and then it shows the content of it, which is this file. And there, then it's going to say at this time, press enter to continue. Now creating it, which is that line right there. And then after that one, now it is compiling it. Now the file gets updated to piece.exec, and it will just show the content of it the same way that we did earlier. Notice that if I make any changes on the code, that's important. So your executable now has, under this directory, under the disk, you have piece.exec. If you just run this command, and instead of peace, you could say peaceful, obviously it will just have an executable name called peaceful. So dash name is just whatever name you want to just run it, and the peaceful.exec will create it under the disk. So on top of what you had piece, notice the size of these files are different, but the binary is the same. So if I run /disk and then say peaceful, it will just run it and then it will do the same thing. However, in order for me to say a different word here, you have to write your code here. So I could say code GUI 1.py, and then here I'm just going to update my code here. The code, whatever I have here, let me just update it. So my app, I'm going to resize this one to do it. So right here, where it says hello world, let's say make this one to say hello my web university, right? So I'm gonna say change the world to add my web university. So that's our YouTube channel, and then I could say, and instead of saying peace, let's say peace. I'm gonna do a search for peace. Let me see why it's not searching. Peace. Okay, peace right here. This one, I'm gonna just peace. I'm gonna just say, please subscribe at my web university, right? So I'm gonna say, please subscribe, and like our video channel and videos. So let's say I do this one, and then whatever message you could say, thank you so much, and I always thank you for everything. So I'm going to say WQ right, and then quit from this one, and then I exit out this one. Now, if I run the piece, do you think the program is going to run with at my webinar? No. Why? Because I haven't recompiled it with PyInstaller. So in order to see this one, now I'm going to have to do this one, the command here, and say create this peaceful here. Now this time the peaceful program, it has a different word right here. Hello Wahid, and then look, hello at my web university, all at my web university, peace to all, and that one. So somehow I did not see the update there. Let me see why. So I'm gonna delete this directory. Everything is gone. This is nothing there, right? So I'm going to just run under this. There's no this directory. So I'm gonna just say run the /piece.ps1. And let's see if and the content, I don't know if I did save it, so it should have been updated. Let's see if this time create the piece.exec and then run the piece.exec, and it should come up with the wording hello all at my web university, peace to all. And okay, so something is wrong here. Let's see. Type GUI 1.5, and actually I did not save it. That's why it should have saved it. So I'm gonna do code GUI 1.5. This time I'm gonna save it for sure. Okay, yeah, you can see here it was not saved. So I'm gonna say peace and hello at my web university. And instead of hello Wahidullah, I'm gonna just change this one to at my web university, and then say please subscribe and make nice comments. It has to be nice, otherwise I don't accept it. You can make any comment you want, but I will try my best to help you out. That's all my intention, to just make easy courses for you, so you can learn it and for free. And then say thank you for watching. So now this time I'm going to say escape or W for write. Now the file is written. I'm going to exit out of the code and I say close it. And now this time I say type this one. Notice that hello at my university. Please subscribe and thank you is there. So if I run this one from the command GUI1 GUI1.py, now my prompt changes to this information. Peace to all. And you can see hello at my web university. Please subscribe and make nice comments. Thank you for watching. So we did that one, but let's run the piece on the PowerShell. So piece the 1.py is going to recreate the file, and then everything is going to rerun, and it's going to be okay this time, because the standalone executable is all we need. So then you gave the executable, and the executable is going to give everything there. So what does that mean? It's like now you are, please subscribe and thank you for watching. The directory disk, and now you could just say copy this to C:/temp. Now I go to check directory of C:/temp, and then I have this directory, and then there's nothing right there. I only created this, but if I want to just copy the files also, I could say do the whatever name was it, the piece.exec, yeah. So now I have that one, and now I'm going to say deactivate. And right here, I did deactivate. So requirement.txt is already there, right? I could just say delete out my virtual environment there. But notice this graphical, and this one I did not upload it anywhere. I don't want to delete this directory, my virtual environment, because it is missing from the rest of them. So this source code, everything. Let's see what is at the time that I did the freeze. I don't know if I did the freeze. Let me just say freeze again. Pep freeze, and then greater requirements.txt. Now I'm creating this requirement.txt, and you can see that there's more modules here and there. A lot of more Pythons at this time, right? So this is inside not inside my virtual environment. If I do this requirement, this is my system. In order for me to actually do this, I could just say, okay, take this requirement, move it, move requirement .text to maybe C: and users Wahid directory for now. Okay, so I don't have a requirements here, but I could say go to scripts directory and then run the activate.ps1, and then I say to do that one. So let's do a piece one dot piece 1.ps1, and it's going to just regenerate the executable under the distribution directory. All the packages that are getting created, and then the executable will be written under piece.exec with that name under the distribution directory. And then this is where it says hello Wahid and hello all at my web university. Peace to all, and then says hello at my web university. Please subscribe and make nice comments. Thank you for watching. So it will just say that one. And then right here, if I look at that disk directory, it is there. So if I say copy this and then piece.exec to C:temp for temporary files and just give it the same name under the C:temp, now I have the piece.exec file. And you can see here, if I want to run it from the temp, this is where you tell your users under the C:/temp and then piece.exec, it will just run the binary. So now you have the standalone binary, you could just distribute it to your users. So that is good. Now here, I just don't need my virtual environment anymore. Since I have the requirement.txt, I can rebuild it. And then here I could say delete my virtual env and say all of that one is gone. Now notice that virtual environment is not there. Delete the distribution. The distribution you have to give it to the users. I'm going to delete it just so you can see how you build it again, and delete that build. And so that is also gone. And now the binaries are there, the specification. I don't need the spec file. And then this is what I had originally. So inside my virtual environment, if I just want to go activate it again, I could even come out here and just say, go to my projects directory. But notice I'm still inside the virtual environment, but virtual environment is empty. So when I did it, I did not deactivate it. That is something that you should have done, and I forgot to deactivate it. That's why the system is still active. However, I could just say, go to my virtual env, it's not there anymore. Go to my projects and go to my project, and then here I'm gonna just say not make dir actually, I'm gonna run, even though I'm on this directory, I'm gonna just say go ahead run Python 3-virtual environment, my virtual environment. This one, even though the parent directory is there and it was activated, it will create my virtual environment with activate and deactivate, so I can run that one. Now I go to my virtual env and go to scripts directory and then run the /deactivate, and that will deactivate it. But notice this deactivate is taking me out of this one. Let me see if I can just activate again. Is it going to just run another activate? No, it is just under that one. So now deactivate should exit out, but it didn't. So right here, I exit out and it is kicking me out of that virtual environment. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to go to my project, cd2/my projects, and then cd2 my virtual env, and then right here, and this prompt is taking my view right here. So notice that here, if I just run, I don't have the scripts directory. With everything is there actually. I could just say activate, and then pep list. Now this is what I have here. The requirement is going to help me restore what I had in there. So I'm going to go out one directory here and one more directory, and requirements is there. So then I say pep install -r requirements.txt. Now my previous one is going to be installed here with all the modules that I had built at the time. If you have a lot of modules, this is gonna take longer. But in this case, I have not that many, so it is completed there. And now if I say pep list, notice that this one is going to tell me exactly under my virtual environment, these are the packages that I have there. So then I could just say, okay, go ahead, run piece.piece1. Notice here, if I just run this directory under my virtual env directory, I don't have anything, right? So I could say, go ahead to run that /piece to just recreate it. So this is how you rebuild it from there. You automate it through one script or second script and activate it, and you're done. But make sure your source are on the parent directory where your requirements is, and that's all important. And now I have built it, and then it compiles it, and it runs here, and then it says the same message that we're supposed to see. Okay, so this is a good example that I showed you for Windows. Let's see if we could just do the same thing on Linux platform. So on Linux platform, I'm already logged on here on the Linux Ubuntu, and then I'm gonna just show you. Let me just type in my password. Here I could just say, okay, pep this. So right here, I'm going to cd here, clear screen, and then say cat -n etc os-release. I'm on a Linux Ubuntu 24.02. And then if I say Python -- version, it's gonna say clear screen Python 3 -- version, and that's going to be saying 3.12.3, which Python is not there, which Python 3 is there. So if I create alias Python, Python is equal Python 3. Now if I say which Python, it is going to just work. So Python and that version is the same as Python 3.3 version. But the alias is not going to show that one, but if I say which Python 3, that one is going to say user bin Python. And file user bin Python 3 is there. I could also make a symbolic link to that one. Notice that one is ls-lb user bin Python 3 is symbolic link to this version of Python 3.12. So the Python 3.12 is actually the binary that is there, and that's the executable link format. So if I say, go ahead, do a file on it, the other one was symbolic link. This is what Linux is going to tell you, executable link format. So now if we found out the type of the file, and then I'm going to say, I'm going to install some stuff here. So I'm on this directory. I'm going to say make directory my project. So now I create my project. I'm going to cd to my project, and then there's nothing there yet. So I'm going to say Python 3, and then dash. I'm going to do actually sudo. Sudo, and then after that, this is package manager of this one is app, install, and then Python 3.12 - virtual env. So that one will prompt me for my password because I need the sudo, and then without sudo it's not gonna work because it's gonna say permission denied. Since I have already installed this module, and then that module is already there. So what I could do is say, okay, great, that is there. How do I could use it? I could say Python 3 -m virtual env, and then my virtual env. So now I'm creating my virtual env under the my projects directory. I just did. Echo $0, meaning that the command was a $question mark means 0. The status means the command ran successfully. So right here, I just created that my virtual env directory, and I cd to it. Now I have this bin directory rather than the scripts, and activate and other ones are there. So if I say file star, notice that activate is ASCII text and the other ones, but this is actually a bash script that we did. So I could say source dot slash activate, and that source, let me just type it correctly, and then copy and then paste it, and then run it, and now activate no such file. So let's see why. So file activate is there, and then I say more activate is a text file. Yeah, that's activate, and deactivate is there. So I should run this one as a binary. There's a .cshrc file. So depending on your shell, I'm using bash. I could say source and then activate.cshrc. If I'm on the C shell, but I'm not. So that was not doing it. So let me just go here, say go to C shell first. Okay, C shell, I am not on this machine. So sudo apt install through C shell. Once you install it, then C shell and through C shell will be available. So I can switch it and then run the activate.cshrc. But I want to show you the bash as well. So right here, if I just say now C shell or through C shell, and you could say through C shell, and then now I'm on there, I could say source activate.c shell, and then that changes my environment here, right? You can see that. And then here, if I just say deactivate is not there, but I could just type in deactivate and automatically deactivates it, because inside the activate I had seen the deactivate was a function also, so it was available. And here, if I'm on the C shell, I go back to through C shell, I mean the bash. Now my bash is my prompt echo $$ is you can see is 3041 get and password. Wahid also give you /ben bash as my default shell. Echo $ shell also tells you I'm using bash. So when I'm using bash, I could say this file activate is the binary. I could say that this /activate, but this is not executable. So I could not run it like this. I could say bash -x activate. So bash -s activate. I mistyped it. Now it's running it, but it just did not do that what I wanted to do. So let's say from bash, I could say ./C shell is I'm going to modify them. Change mode 755 activate and start. Now they're executable. I'm going to say activate right like this, and that runs it, but it didn't do anything with it. So source ./activate. Yeah. So the way you source it from the bash also, because it was a bash script, it just understood this. You could also do a deactivate here. Deactivate. There's another syntax here. You could say ./activate. That also run it. So whether you run the source ./ or dot, and this is the dot operator that run it executable, now you have on the virtual environment. So pep less here is a small and nothing. Now if I just say pep install numpy, I will install numpy on this one. How easy it is, that one. Pep install numpy, I will install it now. Pep less, you can see my NumPy was installed. Similarly, if I say pep install pandas, depending on how big is pandas, sometimes it may take a little bit compared to NumPy. And then similarly with request and everything, so you just give the name of the package and you say install it. How simple is that? Pep list here, and then you do that one. So I'm going to do a pep install PyInstaller. We need to install PyInstaller on this one. Since we activated inside the activated my virtual environment, now I have pep list here and run it there. So at this time, if I just say, let me just run a for statement on bash, I could say for num and just let's do a sequence of numbers. I could say backtick sequence of 10 numbers and then say do echo $ num and then colon hello world. Done. So notice that is there, but at the same time, I could just say do laugh out loud cat, and then just do that one to make it like a colorful information. So it did not understood laugh out loud cat because the piping was not there. Let's see, laugh out loud cat. Okay, it is there, but I needed to put this one, the semicolon. What does it say? Word laugh out loud cat. Okay, so the semicolon, that one did not make any sense. After that one, now it's going to work. This is what I wanted to do. I'm going to do a clear screen here. Run this one again, and it will show you a little bit different every time you run it. You see that? The colors are changing because of that. Laugh out loud cat is dynamic. So I did that one. Now I say, well, can I write that one into a Python script and do that one? Yes, I could do this one. Say, go ahead, write the Python. I'm going to say, go to this directory and then go to one more directory under projects. And then under the projects, I have this. I'm going to say venv hello.py. And then here I could say, for a statement, I could say, let's do a Python here as bang slash, tell it to shebang slash user ben env Python 3. So we're saying this one for num and range of the sequence changes to range here. So 1 to 10, increment by 10. Start from 1 and then increment by 10, say print the f string function and then say just write the num here and then colon. The syntax is a little bit different. You just have to memorize it. Hello world, and then or just ask the AI stuff and they will just do it for you. So now I did this one and then I'm going to just say clear screen here. And then say Python hello.py, and then it will say that the same thing there. But in order for me to just say laugh out loud cat, I could just make it that kind of colorful by piping it to a different ones. But notice that the them here, there's a new line characters already, so I'm not gonna just put another new line characters here. So now if I just run it, this time it's going to just write it nicely there. So how do I make this one into executable? You could say change mode 755 hello.py. Then I don't need to run Python in front of it. Then you could just say hello.py and it will just run that one. And then if you want it in colorful, again, do that one there. So that's nice. It just does what exactly we want to do. However, I want to make PyInstaller option here. So if I'm on the virtual environment, say pep list, then you can see PyInstallers here. In order to know what version of PyInstaller is there, you could have done this one and say grep -i PyInstaller. That one will just pick up the PyInstaller information modules. Or you could also do PyInstaller PyInstaller version. It will tell you that is 6.2020. And then if you just need further help, you could just say -help, and then all these other parameters are showing up here. Look at that, right? So how do I make that one file? So now if I just want to compile that one, I could say Python PyInstaller --one file, and then --console, and then say hello.py. If I just want to create it hello.py, I need the installer. And then now it's going to create it under the same name of the binary under the distribution directory. So now I have a dist directory, a build directory, and a spec file. So the dist directory is that's the executable. So if I say file dist and then hello, that should file dist /dist, and then file /dist/hello. Let me see why is that file dist/hello. Somehow let's dist. Yes. So I say file dist. Oh, the slash, I was typing the dot slash. I was still thinking of I'm on the PowerShell. So file dist and then hello, that will show you executable link format there. You could also say, just go ahead, run it, since it's this slash again Linux slash, which is hello here, and then it will just run that one. And if you want it in color, you could say what is it? The color, you could say laugh out loud, and then that would just run it every time with a different set of colors and so on. And then if you just want to change that one to 100 times, you just have to compile the code again. So venv hello.py, and then just change this one to, let's say, 100 times. That's a lot more than what I want to do. So Python, you could just run it with this hello.py, and that would just run 99 times, laugh out loud cat. You can see that it is generating that type of color. So, but if you just compile this one again with this one file, like one file, and then console, you don't need to do -console. You could just basically do this. It will just do the same thing. And now run the distribution from that directory and just say /this, and then hello, and then it will compile it and it will do that. If you want it in color, again, laugh out loud that, pipe it to another command and do that. And with different frequency, different things you could do. So I want to show you one more thing. Like here, you could say --name, --name, and then you say a name, for example, --name, and then you say hello world, HW, uppercase. Doesn't matter what you do. And then now it's going to create a binary called HW and the dist directory. So this time I'm going to cd to the dist directory and then say file star. You can see HW is also there. And then notice the size of the files are different. HW, and even though it says the same exact output. So when you do that one, that's important. Sorry, laugh out and loud cat. Okay, and that which is true. So at this time, we ran it a few times and I did that one. And so another way you could do the freeze there on this one. So pep list, you can see these are the modules that I did it with NumPy and everything. So in order to clean up the system, I could have delete the other directory and then do it. Let's do deactivate first, deactivate. And now I'm deactivating it here. But this time I'm gonna go to my virtual environment. I'm gonna delete these other ones, except the CD to my virtual env. Okay, I'm going to leave other directories. You could delete the distribution and then the build and other ones. Just make sure that you can activate and deactivate in order to just do it. Or you could just do a Python -m virtual environment in my env and it will do that one. So the directory where we create this one, it is not important. What is important is that I could just create a new environment. I could say now go to this directory and then I don't have a requirement.txt yet. So I'm gonna go to my virtual env and then right here, I'm gonna have to activate it. So under the bin, I say dot/bin/activate. This is going to activate it from bash. Let me see. So I'm gonna go to bin directory. I wanna just make sure that, okay, again, I did the, this one, it didn't work because I did the PowerShell. Right here is the Linux and that would do it. Let's see why it didn't do it. So I'm gonna go to, I'm on the bin directory already. So just on the bin directory, you just do activate and that will activate it. Okay, so now you're on activate pep list. It is there, but in order for this one to be written on the my projects here, I'm gonna say pep freeze, and then greater sign requirements.txt. So this requirement.txt now has the content of cat -n requirement.txt has all the information that I need to in order to do it. Notice that I'm on the virtual environment. I could say deactivate, and I'm here again, right? So I could say just create another virtual environment. I could name it anything. So the rm-rf, my virtual environment, I could delete it and say, okay, I'm going to rm-rf build, and then this, and then hw.spec, star.spec, there are two of them. So now I have only these two files. And then if I do a pep list here, this is my global system area. You don't want to build your system with this one. It is going to clutter it there. So what you want to do is you want to just say, okay, I want to just create a Python 3 my virtual env. I could call it anything. I could call it XYZ or dir1, it doesn't matter. So now I say, sorry, I did forget a -m. You have to put -m saying use virtual environment and then name it dir1. Now dir1 will be created as new one, and then so now dir1 has what you need there. So here you have the requirements file there. That's important. That requirement file has the content of what you want to do. So if in order for me to activate it, I could say dot and then /bin/activate. But I want to do another dot here to source it, or I could say source and then activate. Then let me see I have to do dot dir1 dot slash slash dir1 slash ben slash activate. Now it's going to activate it. Now dir1 is my virtual environment. So here I could do, say, go ahead, install it. If I do pip list, this is a small one like I did earlier. So I say pip install, install -r and then requirement.txt. Now I'm importing my modules here. Then my virtual environment will be just like previously available there. And once that one is done, I would go do a pep list. All the modules that I needed is are here, PyInstaller and everything. So your system is duplicated. That's what's important here. The code that you were running here under the hello.py is still the same thing, whether you want to run it as like this one with hello.py like that, or do it with the colorful like that, or just say, let's show the last tail -5, the last 5 of them. Then you can see that 95 through 99. So if you just did that one now, ls, you say PyInstaller is there, PyInstaller, and that version will just show you the version. And then pep list exactly tells you all the versions. We did the Python and request and other ones, it is there. NumPy pandas we did. So if you say grep minus, do a egrep minus I, and then do PyInstaller, or NumPy or pandas. So just show me those 3. Here you could just get those 3, and then any other words that matches the PyInstaller will show also 4 of them. So how do I now? I did the activate. I can deactivate it, or I could just say inside here I want to do a PyInstaller and then --1 file, and then I could say hello.py. If I don't give any other file name, it will just create the name hello .py as hello.executable and the desk directory, and then that's there. File this hello is executable link format. And in order to run it, you say desk/hello, and it will say that one. In order to do a colorful, and say laugh out loud cat, and this time I want to see the first 10, say head -10, and then out of those ones only say 10 of them. Then you could, you don't need laugh out loud cat this time, you want to do it after. So laugh out loud cat, and then color is going to show there. So this time I'm done with everything. I'm going to say deactivate. And pep list is just basically showing you that it was you're successful. And then say deactivate. And so deactivate. And now we're out of that dir1. So we can wipe out dir1 and other ones. So I'm going to leave that one as it is because everything looks good. And I want to finish this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe our channels, start learning, and share our knowledge and your knowledge to your loved ones. And by sharing, you care about their lives, and we make a big community and help everybody. Unfortunately, a lot of people cannot go to help themselves buy expensive boot camps or pay expensive tuitions. And this is where you come at MyWebUniversity, free online education. You can practice Linux on the browser. For example, if you're an advanced person, go to chapter 4 and then say, okay, great. Can I practice all these 88 commands? Yes. You can go and practice them online and read them and technical documentation, or watch these videos, and they're all for you for free. And if you need further documentation, there's all kind of documentation on Red Hat, thousands of PDF. Each one of them you click on, the JDB and then Java database connectivity, anything, it is there. There's thousands of hundreds of thousands of documentation. You're welcome to learn it. And if you say, can you show me the PS3 command when you say run Linux on a browser, what do you mean, Wahid? For example, notice you're on a Chrome, you're learning what is the PS3 process stream 3 command, and I say display a tree of a process. And then here are some examples that you can practice with them, and there's manual pages in PDF and HTML. So if you click on the example number 2, process stream 3.1, meaning the system ID, process ID 1, it is going to just run it on my Linux server, and then the output is going to be just produced to you on your command. This was the command that you clicked on, and here's the output, and you can see in the tree structure the system D, which for all other child processes, this is the mother of all processes. On previous version, we call it init initialization, or init system D is for system 7. So the initial process is always process 1. And then system D is also process 1. And then you can see that this is the command, but at the same time, if you just say, how about running a date command? Can I do that one? Yes, you can do that one. And if you say, Wahid, can I get the PDF version of technical documentation for everything that I learned? Yes, I just generate you on the fly this one, and you could get everything here. For example, you learned today on Python. So if you just type in here Python, when I say hundreds of thousands of technical documentation, this is one source you come in. I just generate you your choice of programming languages, everything. You click on it, and then now you have it. But at the same time, code reusability of object-oriented programming, I made the program that for all these URLs, they're kind of like hyperlink, so you can click on them. Control F, search for HTTPS, and then you can see you can go to python.org or docs.python.org. If you click on it, I take you to Python website. You click on documentation, and then hundreds of thousands of technical documentations are there at your fingertips. I'm not gonna go too much detail because in every video I don't wanna do that to you, and I hope you join our channel, learn from it, and grow the channel. With 2,100, this is too small of number of subscription. Please share it with your loved ones, and please join if you haven't. You're gonna enjoy hundreds of thousands of technical documentation with 2,500 online videos of college level courses or even better. And you will learn it on different topics of computer science related courses, object-oriented programming, operating system, databases, you can name it, Python, C, C++, PowerShell, Windows, Bash, MySQL, everything that you can learn in college, it's here for free. Take care, God bless you all, have a nice one, bye-bye.